Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to STR Wrestling Review. I am your host, Saber, and today I have a very special guest. I feel like I'm taking away from the interview if I introduce him. That's why I'll let him do it himself.
Oh my goodness. What? No, you gotta introduce. You gotta do your intro. Oh my goodness. I was expecting that. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sugar Shane Pinto, the hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today, and your unified deathmatch champion coming from my car. Because people are working inside my house and it's loud and it's drilling, and yeah, we're using the car. So thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have a conversation with you today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing the title. We'll
Of
definitely talk
course.
about that. I
Absolutely.
wanted to firstly go back to the origins of Sugar Shane Pinto. When you won your title, you posted on Instagram on how your dad actually named you after Shane McMahon. So clearly, wrestling has been a part of your life for a very long time. Do you have any memories of going to wrestling shows as a kid? I think we lost you.
I don't know what happened there. I'm so sorry.
There we go. It's all right.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, you made a post after winning your title about
Yep,
how your dad named you after Shane McMahon. That
he
is
did.
so cool. One of the best. One of the best. It just shows wrestling has definitely been a part of your life for a very long time. Do you have any memories of going to shows as a kid?
Oh my God, yeah. So, just quickly, I'll share the story on here. But yeah, I was born August 28th, 1998, which was a Friday,
Mhm.
according to my parents. My dad named me after Shane McMahon. Um, my mom wanted to name me Donovan, and I was gonna be Donovan Pinto, or Donnie, if you will. I don't know where that came from. If I'm being honest with you, my dad's like, let's just name him Shane. Um, so yeah, so that's how that all started. Now, memories of going to shows as a kid, absolutely. The earliest one that I can remember, I believe it was my first, was a Monday Night Raw. Um, and it was the first Monday Night Raw since the Montreal Screwjob.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the first one in Montreal since the Screwjob. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Um, and on that night, Shawn Michaels came out, and it was the "Who's Your Daddy" Montreal promo, if you're familiar with that.
Mhm.
And Bret Hart's music played. The crowd was going crazy. I must have been 6 years old,
Mhm.
maybe. Um, and I wasn't the connoisseur, if you will, of wrestling that I like to think I am now. Um, but I knew in that moment right away that whoever this person's music that's playing is a big deal. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my first show. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Um, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, and Batista were in the main event or like the dark match of the show.
Mhm.
And it was like at that moment where I was like, oh my God, these are three of my favorite at the time, right? Like being a kid, you love John Cena, you love Batista, and then Hulk Hogan, who
Absolutely.
is Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? So those were my three, like, I guess, big ones all in the same match. And I was present for that show. It was really cool, really fun experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the
Yeah,
Montreal Screwjob was a couple of days ago, 28 years ago to the day.
it was. Yeah.
It's so insane. I see videos of that every single year, and it blows my mind how that actually happened.
A lot of people to this day claim it was a work. You know, a lot of people thinking it wasn't. It was the world's greatest work. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is that for something to stand the test of time, 28 years still, we're having conversations. 28 years later, Bret Hart's coming to Montreal,
Hmm.
and talk about the screw job, which I was present for. It was like wrestling can transcend sometimes, and wrestling fans have a long-term memory. It goes to show.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so sad I couldn't attend that, but I heard great stories of how it went. What was your experience at that?
It was nice to relive and hear stories of one of, if not the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Mhm.
Um, just to hear Bret Hart uh, recant tales of just different things, screw job aside, excuse me. Um, it was a pleasure, truly. And I took it as another moment to sit underneath the learning tree of uh, a great legend of our business.
Yeah, absolutely. You also said that John Cena was one of your favorite wrestlers as a kid, just like so many others. Now with his retirement tour, I'm not sure if you're still watching the product, but you are?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure you're familiar with the retirement tour. Who would you say you want John Cena to face in his final match?
Um, I'm gonna give uh, I guess, the political answer, and that's whoever John Cena wants to face in his
Mhm.
match. He's earned the right to say and choose who that person may be. Um, with that in mind, if we look at the landscape of this tournament, we're just one day removed from Zack Ryder coming back, which is like the
Mhm.
coolest thing.
That was
Um,
insane, yeah.
that was crazy. Having met Matt Cardona multiple times on the Indies and different shows, I can only imagine what that meant to him. And again, we're not best friends or bosom buddies or nothing close to the sort. But every time we've had a conversation, he was really cool, just really cool, just like shooting the S word, if you will. I don't want to swear, but you know what I mean. Like you're just shooting and just talking, and he's always been super cool with me. With that being said, I'm of the opinion that it will likely be Gunther.
Mm,
Um, I don't know. There's something beautiful about John Cena in his last match being put to sleep and not tapping out and never giving up, if you
mhm,
will. It's kind of emblematic of his career, and yeah, I think if there's anyone who should do it, it would be Gunther. Would I love Edge? Sure. Would I love Chris Jericho? Sure. I would love Javon Evans. I
oh,
think
yeah.
Javon Evans would be a great person to have in John Cena's last match, just to kind of be like, hey, this is completely out of left field. Javon
Mhm.
Evans is well deserved. Um, but either way, all I know is that I'll be watching Saturday night's main event for that match. It's going to be quite the show.
Yeah, and you're definitely not wrong. John Cena has the right. He has earned the decision to face who he wants. And, definitely 100% a future WWE Hall of Famer. And, you mentioned the Saturday night's main event. That also made me think to ask you about, do you think you'll be attending Saturday night's main event when it comes to Montreal?
I mean, I have no choice, right? Like
You
it's
really don't.
it's it's a Friday night SmackDown followed by a Saturday night's main event. Um, would it be cool to go there as a fan again? Absolutely. Um, because that's what we all got in this business for, right?
Mhm.
Or at least the vast majority of us got in the business as fans. Um, but it would be really cool, really, really cool to follow in the footsteps of some of my friends who have been able to do extra work for WWE and kind
Mhm.
of live that lifelong dream of just being like, oh my God, I'm here. You
Mhm.
know? Um, I think I'm ready for that. So either way, I'll sorry about that. Either way, I'll be there. But how I'll be there is
Undetermined so far.
undetermined. Undetermined so far.
Now, again, speaking of when you were as a kid, all your memories and some of your favorites, who was your favorite manager as a kid?
Favorite manager as a kid. It remains the same, Paul Heyman.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um, Paul Heyman was my generation's quote unquote manager. I like I said, born in 1998. My early years were like the early 2000s. Um, so with that in mind, Paul Heyman was like the only one that we had. Um, so I'd pick him, and then it's so funny because I look at you and we're talking, and I see so much of myself in you. It's crazy. Like I just wanted to put that out there. I needed to say this at some point, but like there's so many parallels between you and me that is making me like reminisce right now. But when I was 13, um, and younger, I used to buy or not. I did not have money at 13. Trust me. But my mom, my dad used to buy me these like box sets. Okay,
Mhm.
so um like the DX anthology or something of the sort, or like the greatest WWE champions of all time, and it was like a 3 disc box set, and on there would be sometimes it'd be a documentary on the first disc, and then 2 other discs would be matches. I used to skip the documentary because I was like, ugh, documentary is like PU, you know what I mean? Like who would think that now, right? But I used to watch all those matches, right? I used to go back and watch matches, and I'd go back to the 80s matches because I was watching the Hogan stuff and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And,
Mhm.
then I got the NWA stuff, and then I got the Jim Cornette. And all these people kind of slowly but surely shaped um, the idea of me wanting to become a manager. And that all came from those box sets and those DVDs.
Yeah, that's so cool, and thank you for saying that you see a lot of you and me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. I want to go into the business one day. So, thank you so much for that.
And look, we'll sidetrack here, but like for the people who don't know, and I'll share a little anecdote. But we've met each other at IWS shows,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm sorry, it's just cool to see because like you're doing. Sorry, give me a second.
Sorry.
You're what you're doing is how do I say this? You're doing it early, which is really good. You're 13 years. I believe 13, right? Is that how old you are?
Mhm.
Or I could
13.
be wrong. Yeah. So
Yes,
you're
13.
what you're doing is starting the dream early. You got a podcast at your age. It speaks to your drive and your resilience and your dedication. And for anyone to know anything about wrestling, that's half the battle. And the fact that you're doing that inspires me at 27 years old. You know what I mean? So um, when I saw you helping out at IWS at 13 years old, I was like, holy S word. You know what I mean? Already, like that's next level, and I appreciate stuff like that. So I just wanted to shout you out because of it.
No, I appreciate you and people watching this. I
Of course.
didn't pay him to say this. Like, I really appreciate.
No, that's the truth. Don't worry, I would say it either way. It's the truth. It's very cool.
Thank you so much. So,
My pleasure.
after you watched wrestling for so many years and you finally decided to go into the business, how did
Yes.
your family and all your friends react to that?
Great question. I wanted to be two things when I was a kid. I wanted to be a rock star, and I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And in some funny way, I guess I get to live both those dreams now, not in the
Mhm.
with the scope that I would necessarily want and enjoy. Sorry, my father-in-law, he made an appearance. Um, Not to the scope yet that I would like and enjoy, but I've always had the support of my family and my friends. Um, I remember being in grade 3, and there we had to do like the typical, like, what do you want to be when you grow up public speech,
Mhm.
and it was half wrestling, half music. When I got to high school, it was, what do you want to be when you grow up, and it was, I'm gonna out myself for how much of a wrestling fan I am. Um, I left the room in a huff in high school one day during this presentation. My teacher knew this was happening, and when I gave her my cue, she would play my music, and my music was the Miz's music, because I am a huge Miz fan. I was like 12 years old, and I came to the I guess class with a whole entrance and everything, and I just did a promo on the class, um, and it just felt right, you know. So yeah. Uh, in terms of support, I have had support in abundance. Um, Leaving high school, when I wanted to become and join a wrestling school, which I later found in Torch Chamber Pro Wrestling. I had the support of my father, my mom, my grandparents, everyone there financially, where they were like, "Yeah, we'll pay you for to go for this stuff," and absolutely, that's what happened. So, never shy, and to this day, everyone is nothing but supporting.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great story of using the
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Music to go into the classroom.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
came to play. You come in.
It was like, I was such a fan of him because of the music too. Do you know what I mean? Like, as a kid who
Yeah.
loves rock music, then you hear this, and it's like, then you see this guy, and like, between you and me, so I had long hair like you. I'm growing my hair back out because I miss my long hair. But in high school, the haircut was the faux hawk. Like,
Oh yeah.
we all had Mrs. Haircut, or we all had Jericho's haircut. When Jericho had
Oh yeah.
the puffy in the front and the short, we all had that. We so like, when we saw Miz on TV, we were like, he dresses like a East End Italian, like what we were. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun. Now I
Yeah,
get to
that
do
is
it.
amazing though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So when you finally could live out the dream of becoming a manager, you debuted in Jacques Rougeau's Wrestling Academy.
I did.
He's been on the show, great guy with equally great stories. What did you take away from his school?
You're so well spoken, and your questions are fantastic. I am so impressed. It's not even funny. Um, Jacques Rougeau was a complete gentleman to me, and welcomed me with open arms. How that conversation went was, I was kind of in this state of limbo where I knew I was ready to debut, but there was no opportunities for a manager to debut, if that makes any sense. Um, so I guess one thing, which you're already doing, is sometimes you just got to take it for yourself, and you just got to do it for you. And trust me, once you trust yourself, you'll reap the benefit of the reward. So Jacques Rougeau was putting out, I guess, Facebook posts for this Lutte Academy project, and I believe that there was an inscription for a manager. To my recollection, which was sent to me by my friend and recent WWE ID signee Yane Harrison.
Oh yeah.
I'm using his name so I can get any bit of that rub and maybe some of his money down the line. I love you, Yane. If you're watching, hope you win the belt tonight. Um, excuse me. Um, so he sent me the link, and it was like, send me a promo of 30 seconds to a minute as to why you should be a manager at Lutte Academy. I did it. I sent it to the email. I get a call on my phone 10 minutes later from a Mr. Jacques Rougeau. It appears on my phone. I answer the phone, and he's like, "Mr. Pinto, how would you like to be part of Lutte Academy?" And that was how that started. And that was my debut. Um, the Olympia Theater, or excuse me, it was Club Soda. It was Club Soda. The Olympia serves another purpose with IWS. Club Soda, a venue where I've seen bands perform in my youth and just in between. So, um, to be able to debut there on that stage with someone with the name of Jacques Rougeau attached to it, at the time was really cool for my career. Um, so yeah, I was very grateful for that opportunity when it was presented to me. I was young in the business and I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into. I just knew that I had to do something. And so the journey began.
Yeah, that's such a great story.
Thank you.
Who gets to say they just got a random phone call from Jacques Rougeau, you know?
It's happened to me more than once, if I'm being honest with you too. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an experience. And I'm grateful because it taught me a lot right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you've taken a lot more wrestling classes so you could do a lot more inside of the ring. What was that
Yes.
decision like?
You've done your homework. This is so cool. That decision to transition, not necessarily from manager to wrestler, but to understand and navigate the goings on inside the ring to better the experience that I provide outside of the ring, was kind of a night and day moment in my life. Um I was content with just being outside of the ring and using this right here, um as the only tool. I was cool with never bumping. I was cool with never being involved physically. All I needed was a mic, 30 seconds, and the space in between to fill in the gaps, so to speak, which is what a lot of what the manager does. Um, However, it was agreed upon joining IWS that, and this was not just a decision made by me. I had a lot of help and a lot of insight. Um, Andrew Stott, who is
Mhm.
the trainer there, who really has helped me and guided me and brought me to this point. I'd like to also shout out literally all my friends too, if I can. I'm so sorry. Tyler
Absolutely.
Knox, Bray Della Russo, Leah Sparks, Drea Mitchell, Johnny Taco, Dante Dubois. We are, I guess, the squad, if you will. And they all pushed me and upon asking them, I'm like, hey guys, you think this would be a good idea? They're like, not only is it going to be a good idea, we're going to help you,
Mhm.
you know? Um, so the journey has been easy. The body obviously is in pain and it's sore, not to the extent of what these guys are doing, the ones that I mentioned, but it's definitely something that everyone, including myself, most importantly myself, is seeing that is paying off in dividends.
Yeah, that's so cool that you had the support to push you through all that because I'm sure it hurts like hell. Um,
It can.
yeah, and I'm sure it helps also with so many other promotions, not just the IWS. And do you have a favorite promotion that you work with?
So obviously IWS is there.
Mhm,
Um I want to shout out a few more if I can. I am absolutely grateful to work at every single federation, every single promotion that I have been a part with. Um I really want to put a highlight on what Brandon and Gus are doing at Remix.
mhm.
Um those were the first two that gave me the opportunity to really understand my value as a performer. They have worked with me tirelessly for months. They've listened to some creative pitches that I've had. We've worked together, we've collaborated, and they do a really cool thing in the Orleans area of Ontario in a brewery, which means unfortunately you can't be there because you have to be of age. But maybe one day I
Mhm.
can sneak you in. um, and we can have you come in and do that. That would be really cool. But yeah, they were the first ones to really um be like, you're special and you need to understand how special you are. So I'm gonna give them a special shout out because I appreciate them and their friendship very. dearly. So thank you to Gus and Brandon at Remix. Um, a new promotion that I've been working with a little bit more hand in hand is TUW in Tedford.
Mhm.
Um, their level of production is akin to a WWE. It is one of those things where they um, really value and emphasize a professional product, which has always been something that I appreciate, um, because I feel that lends more to the presentation that I view of myself. Um, so whether it be having literally industry recognized cameras to shoot the show, or whether it be doing pre-tapes backstage that are later going to be put on a show, or having like segments or like storylines that people can like sink their teeth into. um TUW is great. Shout out to Francis and the whole squad there. And if I don't highlight this man, I'll never be able to um, sleep at night. But Frankie the mobster is there too. And Frankie, the level of respect I have for Frankie in our business, it goes without saying. So for him to be there as well, and with the pedigree that he has in the wrestling business, is yeah, it's really cool to be a part of that family.
Mhm. And I'm sure with the training, I wouldn't say it becomes much safer, but you're a lot more prepared for it. What have some of the biggest risks been in your career?
Let's bring back the Olympia. Um, uneffin sanctioned main event. It's Team IWS versus Team GCW, managed by Sugar Shane Pinto. On Team GCW is Effie
Mhm.
and Jimmy Lloyd. Opposing them is PCP Manny and the Green Phantom.
Mhm.
Um, just being there in attendance is a risk in it of itself.
Yeah.
But being in that match in the role that I was, being so close to all that violence was something, especially with I don't think I had goggles. I did have gloves, but I didn't have goggles. So there was debris flying everywhere. And for anyone who knows what a death match is, you know that there's a lot of stuff flying out there.
Oh yeah.
Um, but unfortunately, at the conclusion of the match, what had happened was, um, much to my chagrin, of course, um, I thought I was paying Effie and Jimmy Lloyd a handsome amount of money to win, but unfortunately they did not. So uh, I was a little peeved because my investment didn't go the way that I had planned, and I went in there and I mushed both of them, and unfortunately that took a turn where Manny, who I still don't like, took my jacket, my button shirt off, and in front of what I believe was 1,000 people at the Olympia, hit me with light tubes over my back,
Oh.
um, and sent the fans home extremely happy, and my mother home in tears. So I would say that has been the biggest risk that I've been a part of so far in the business.
I've been to IWS bring the fans bring the weapons
Yeah.
front row twice. It is insane. I don't know how else to describe it.
Insane is the perfect way to describe it. And the fact that you're front row is crazy. But
Yeah.
that's crazy. But that yeah, it is what it is.
But being in the ring for that, I don't even want to think about how scary that must be.
Can I be honest with you? I felt like a god. When you're underneath those lights and you have thousands of people who obviously are not smart because they're booing me, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they should
why?
be cheering. But that's besides the point. I mean, whatever. They have poor judgment, and that's their fault. But that's besides the point. But to be there underneath those lights and with all those people looking at you, I'm seeing it now, and you have two of the craziest, infamous wrestlers in that style of wrestling, that death match style of wrestling. and they are on your left and right, and you are sharing that energy with them in the ring, I felt unstoppable. Truly unstoppable. Fear was not even a thought in my mind. What was really going on was, okay, this was phase one. What's next?
Mhm.
And now here we are.
That is so cool. I've had daydreams about going out through the curtain, even in just tiny, small venues with like 20 people in the crowd cheering or booing me. It gives me, shivers. And to actually have done that in front of 1,000 people, that is so cool.
I, I I was exactly like you, and I'm still exactly like you at 27. Um, it is the coolest thing in the world for me to hear you say that. If I'm being honest with you as well, because I was 13 and I wanted to do the exact same thing. So yeah, really cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously, all the best characters in wrestling are themselves but amped up. How long did it take you to fully find yourself in the business?
The beauty about life is that you're always finding yourself. I'm 27 years old. I say it a lot, but it's true. It's an important number to me, so that's why. But I'm still finding myself, and that's really part of the journey. To figure out who Sugar Shane was, I had to understand who Shane was and what Shane wanted. Um, but you're right. Is this version of me an amplified version of 10? I would even say it's the same person that's going out there um, wrestling, who's talking to you, who is going to go back in his home. They're all the same person in their own way. So, with that in mind, like I said, we're all still trying to find out who we are as life goes on. But I'm really happy with the person that I am today. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's one hell of an answer, to be honest.
Thank you.
So, what is one thing about you that would surprise the fans so incredibly much?
One thing that would surprise me or surprise the fans.
Whether it's a hobby or.
So, my time is quite occupied as of late. Um, so there's no such thing, or not that there's no such thing as free time, but when it comes to hobbies, I love to cook.
Mhm.
Um, I love making food, whether it's for me, for the missus, for my friends, for whomever. Um, but I'm quite the video game guy. I do enjoy a good video game. Now, my style of video games really is Nintendo. If I'm being honest with you, I do love Nintendo. I love games where they have a good story, and that I can play by myself. So I guess that's part of a fun fact, if you will. A lot of times when especially when I was a kid, like a lot of my friends wanted to play online, whether it be like Halo or Black Ops or whatever. I never wanted to play that. I wanted to play by myself. So yeah, Sugar Shane likes to play video games and doesn't like being interrupted when he plays video games. Like he wants 8 hours in front of one game with a good story, maybe a coffee next to me, and that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
right there. Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Uh I just thought of another thing that like whatever, but like you ever hear of this thing called guilty pleasure
Mhm.
music?
Yeah.
I don't have any guilty pleasure music, but like I really love Maroon 5.
Mhm.
That's my other thing. I like Maroon 5. Sue me.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I absolutely love cooking, whether it's for me, my family, or my friends when they come over. And
Nice.
I honestly feel like it's become a trend with the wrestlers. For the past few interviews, I asked them what some things that would surprise the fans are, and almost every single one of them had said video games.
Yeah, because like if you can disconnect in any way, creatively,
Mhm.
I think it's necessary. Like I always have a guitar in my hand. I'll
Mhm.
always have the phone in my hand and I'll always write notes about promos or lyrics or whatever the case may be. So for me, the real disconnect is just alone in front of a TV playing a video game. Um, so yeah,
When you're not playing video games or cooking, how are you building chemistry with some of the wrestlers that are around you and especially the ones that you manage?
dude, like what a good question. Oh my god. Like what a great question. How am I building chemistry? I'm fortunate enough to work with people who I can consider my friends.
Mhm.
So, I mentioned those iconic names earlier. Um, I work with Tyler and Bray,
Mhm.
with addiction. I work with Drea,
Mhm.
at Remix and now slowly other places. Um, I have had the opportunity to oppose Leah Sparks and Dante Dubois and Johnny Taco as well, as they are really good at being cheered and really good at being loved. It's not hard to love those people. Um, so, how we build that is we'll go down the roads together. So to speak, we'll be in car rides. We'll hang out before, during, and after shows, and just be like, "Did you see that? Oh, I saw that." You know what I mean? And we just talk the business. It's because we actually love it. And through that, I've gotten to understand them as individuals, but also how their brain works and how their approach to wrestling works as well. And in my role, the more you can take from every style, the better it then becomes, when you're put in a position to, I guess, play that role, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've seen every single one of them wrestle, and they are all so good.
Yeah. This is the we were at training on Thursday. Bray wasn't there, so um, but he was there in spirit because we were talking about him. But it was all of us together, just hanging around and waiting for class to start, and they were talking, and I just took a moment to just be quiet and like forest for the trees type thing, and realize where I was, and I'm like, this is the future. Like all of us are here and all like we're all good at what we do.
Mhm.
Like we have to take a moment to realize that like we've put in the work. Um so it was really cool, and the fact that I'm even part of that is just an honor in and of itself.
Yeah, that's cool. Sometimes you've just gotta really stop and think about where you are. And for
Yeah.
you to be there with all your friends, it's amazing.
Yeah. The it's what is it the what if wrestling is the friends we made along the way or something like that? I don't know what the quote is, but it is. It's um for my friends to get the opportunities that they are, and seeing them do what they do, to me is a lot more rewarding than some of the stuff that even I've been able to do, because I just get to be able to share that energy with them. They're good people and they deserve what's coming their way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was also wondering, have there ever been wrestlers past or present that you really want to manage?
Yes. Um, I always say Vanessa Craven.
Mhm.
Vanessa Craven is someone who I think with um with time has been one of literally my goats of the business, from a level of understanding, um, performance in the ring. And someone who I've connected with behind the scenes a lot too, who I would think, just from an optics standpoint, Vanessa Craven and Sugar Shane Pinto would be a really cool item together. Frankie the Mobster, once
Mhm.
again, whether that be managing him or opposing him,
Mhm.
I would welcome that opportunity with open arms. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I would say those two for sure. Um, and if I may, I'd like to give a special shout out to my friends, the Hollow Prophecy.
Mhm.
That's those two guys are getting their start in the business, and to see their progression has been really cool. So I would love and I would welcome an opportunity to work with them one day too, selfishly, because I think they're great.
Have there ever been any times where wrestlers approached you to ask if you can manage them and you said no?
There have. Um, and it wasn't because of anything besides it just didn't make sense at that point in time,
Mm.
right? Whether it be I was with somebody else at that specific federation, or promotion rather, whether it be just like a conflict of bookings. It's happened before, but nothing scandalous attached to it, unfortunately. For the sake of a
Unfortunately.
clip, I say for the sake of a clip. You know what I mean? I could have been like, "Ooh, yes, there was," but no. If I'm being honest, then no.
What is the hardest part today of being an independent wrestling manager?
All of it is hard. You, my role is I don't sell tickets.
Mm.
My role is never on a poster. I enhance the person I'm supposed to be attached with. With that being said, having an established act that goes from place to place to place may not be indicative of what that company wants. It may not fit their image. But being the person that I am and the performer that I am, I always find a way to adapt and navigate those waters. So I think it's just a matter of being seen. Um, that is can often be a challenge for any wrestler, just a matter about being seen. Um, but also the trust that I need to garner from promoters and fans to ensure that when you put the microphone in my hand, I make things happen. I make things special. And it's very hard to do that um, when you're selling a wrestling show, especially an independent wrestling show. A lot of people don't want to hear promos. But with time, I have proven to everyone that it's not just any promo, it's a Sugar Shane promo.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's hard, but it is definitely very important.
If you ask me, but that's me being biased, it's the most important,
Hmm.
right? Obviously, you're selling a wrestling show. Obviously, there has to be wrestling there. But if you can't be emotionally attached to it, like you are, like I am. Also, I know we said 45 minutes. We can go longer. I don't mind. I just want to tell. I'm enjoying talking to you. Truth be told, like I'm just
Yeah,
enjoying
I
having
was
a
a bit
conversation with
worried
you.
about that, but that's good to know.
No, 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 no. We all the time you want, it's yours. Um, the level of emotional investment and emotional attachment to what it is that you're watching is the essence of wrestling, right? I provide the emotion. I know how to sell emotion. So I think it's important. I don't know about you, but I think it's
Yeah,
pretty important.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
And that's another thing. Wrestling fans think the only thing involved in wrestling for the show that you have to practice is taking bumps and stuff, but that is another thing you could practice a lot.
and it's very important.
Mhm.
There's so many cogs in the machine that make wrestling work. There's so much structure and nuance that you need to understand in order to correctly tell a story. Um, my forte is the nuance. My forte is the detail. My forte is the emotion. I'm training how to do the physical part now, and hopefully that comes together. And one day we have at least one match where I'm out there and at least I told the story to completion that would be of benefit to the promoter, but more so the fans as well. You know? Um, so yeah.
Yeah. Now, usually I ask all my guests what's the funniest thing they've ever seen at a wrestling show. But for
Oh.
you, I know you're the guy that usually brings the comedy to the shows.
Yeah.
What's the funniest thing that you've done or said?
Um, I if my friends are watching this, they're gonna be like, "Oh no, he's gonna do things. He's gonna say some things." Um, I'm a bit of a jokester. I'm a little bit of a practical joker. For those of you who know me, I typically like to do a little bit of impressions, and I like to make jokes, and I like to do things like that. So, I'm not going to out myself because I want to get booked again. um, but let's just say myself and Mr. Rat Bastard Big Dog Bray Della Russo have found ourselves in predicaments once or twice before where if, you know, I'm like trying to find a way to say this properly. We play jokes on people and like not like bad jokes, like you know what I mean? Like nothing like whatever. Like we'll just like, um we'll like bring a potato to a wrestling show and just put it on the floor and then we'll be like, what is this? Who brought up why is there just a potato in the thing? And it's just making ourselves laugh, you know what I mean? Or and things like that, you know? In terms of things that I've said in a promo, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out too. What's the like? I don't know. You got me. That's a good question. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But yeah,
Yeah.
you if there's ever a practical joke happening, for example, a potato being left in the room, um, or like uncooked pasta, just magically appearing around the ring, or if you hear a fart on the microphone in the loudspeaker, but you can't find the microphone, it was probably us.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. My dad
Yeah,
does a bunch of those jokes, so do I. Like
yeah.
at my school, I've just been putting little cutouts all around the building, little googly eyes,
That's
stuff like
fun.
that.
My grandmother, a little bit between you and me, because she'll watch this and then she'll be like, I knew it was you, but um, I hide bananas in my grandparents' house. They'll have bananas, and then when I go over, I will undo the banana from the bunch of bananas and hide them around the house just to pop myself. Yeah,
And I'm not sure if you encounter this a lot, but usually there's always that one person that just tries to make it their life mission to stop it. This one kid saw I did it at one place, made it his life mission to search every room in the school to take them all down. Does that
and
ever
that's
happen
the
to you?
person. Yeah, that's the person you rib.
Yeah.
That's that's the person you do it the most to because they're selling it. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be telling you this. Now you're gonna go to school and your parents are gonna be like, "Well, yeah, 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 you know." But yeah, between you and me, that's what I do. 100%. I like a good joke.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
okay.
I can take a good joke too.
Yeah, I won't blame you. I'll blame my dad. He does the exact same thing.
Me and your dad have a good sense of humor.
Do you prefer live promos or do you prefer doing them in advance?
Oh, I hate doing them in advance. I'd rather never do a promo in advance ever. Give me the mic and give me a crowd, and I promise you it'll be a good time.
Yeah, 'cause that's when they're reacting to it.
Oh my god, that's I need an audience. That's why I do what I do. Um, I selfishly need the reaction from people. That's what makes my job work. Um, whether I'm playing a super serious, psychotic Shane Pinto in Addiction, or I'm playing Sugar Shane, who's just going out there and being silly. Um, the best thing about it is my my audience is how I'm testing to see if the material works. You know?
Mhm. So I know a lot of usually it's referees. They try and save the match by pushing stuff towards the wrestlers like chairs or holding them in place. Do you ever have to save a match by improvising to keep them safe?
To keep them safe, no. Um, I have sacrificed myself for the good of the team once or twice before, whether that be pushing somebody out of the way so that I have to take a spear from Green Phantom into a door, or things alike. Um, but no, I haven't yet, knock on wood, had to intervene in any sort of way to make sure that anyone is safe. If I would say, um, peeling back the curtain a little bit, if there is a dive happening and I'm there, I'll probably take that dive too, just to be an extra body, if you will.
Yeah, I'm sure other people would be like, the dive, I'm getting out of the way for this.
I love the dive. I remember my first dive. It was the first time I took one. Myself and Tyler Knox were fighting Jason Gray. Was it Jason Gray? I think it was Jason Gray. And it was outside at a camping show. So, um, somewhere South Quebec, North Quebec, doesn't matter. Very far, very sticky summer day. They put a ring in the middle of a field. And the plan was, I'm going to dive on you, brother. And they're like, "You've taken a dive before?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And nope, I've never taken a dive. We're going to my first one. And it's not like there's any padding on the grass. So, um, I ate shit. Sorry for excuse my language, but I ate some. That was my first one. Yeah, it's fun.
I'm sure you've wanted to talk about this the whole interview. If I
Yeah.
were you, I would just be waiting for this. But your title win, you have it in the car with you. Your first title win too. How, trying to figure out how to word it properly. How refreshing did that feel?
What it was in a storyline aspect
Mhm.
was, hey, we trust you. Or excuse me, not in a storyline aspect, but in a reality thing.
Mhm.
Hey, we trust you. And that was the coolest part of it. Um, Working with NOW and ISW, Loic, and Mike has been really cool because it's been a lot of Shane has an idea and they're like, we trust you. Go for it. And that's this championship is emblematic of that.
Mhm.
It's emblematic that my ideas hold water. My creativity actually means something. And as an artist, recognition is cool, but I've known that these ideas have been working for me. The title just kind of solidifies it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really is cool, like you said, so amazing. Are there any weird things, specifically just bad storylines that you have been pitched with?
Yeah. There's been a few. Um, I'll give you one. Let me try finding it. Um, my God, has there been some bad stories? Like there's been some stinkeroonies. Um, the first one that kind of like comes to mind, and it didn't, and it wasn't just because like we both agreed that this was just like this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Um, but like I'm trying to find a way to do this without exposing people. Let's just say there was a world that existed where myself and PCP Manny um would I'd be so angry to the point that I would want to fight him, which this is before on F and Sanction when we did the whole thing.
Mhm.
But there'd be a point where like I'd have to like I don't know, do something illegal, like get a weapon of some sort and like threaten to use said weapon on PCP Manny. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm I don't think that works. And then we're like, yeah, that's probably for the best. And that was it. So I would say that one. Um, but no, everything's been pretty cool. Everything's been all right. I'm saying that now, and then come next week, they're gonna be like, "Listen, sugar, we have this idea for you to do this thing. Would you be? Do you should totally do it." I'm gonna be like, "Well, yeah, no, I'm good." Yeah,
Yeah, when that happens, you can message me, record a little
I
promo, and I'll
will.
put it in the video.
I got you. I got you.
What has been the biggest, best, or worst crowd reaction that you or the people you managed while you were there have gotten?
I would say the Olympia has to be up there. Um, there was one time where I went to Setzil, and Setzil is like 8 hours away drive to go wrestle. And this was the first wrestling event in Setzil in like years. So like they were ready, you know? So I went out there and I started speaking in English in a French place and they were like riotous. Just riotous. Um Subsequent to that I was in another match and I think that this one person's reaction uh makes everything else pale in comparison. But a fan jumped the ring or jumped the rail
Oh,
and tried to
wow.
fight me. Yeah. Yeah, I had said something, I guess, dastardly earlier in the show. And when he had the opportunity to get close to me, he jumped the rail and he was drunk and he shoved
Of
me. And
course.
when I was about to turn around and maybe or maybe not get arrested that night, security had to pull him out. So that was a crazy one because, like, you got Olympia, which is like everyone's like, yeah, you got beat up, cool. And there's this one guy who literally tried to fight me. So it's like, life is all about balance, you know?
Yeah. At least
Yeah.
it shows that you're doing your job right.
That's what I've been saying. I got backstage and I was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Am I okay?" That was the coolest thing I've ever done. You know?
Was there ever a
Yeah.
time in wrestling, all these great stories, wouldn't point to it, but I'm sure every wrestler has gone through it, and manager. Was there ever a time that you lost motivation?
No. You can't lose hope. Hope is a very powerful thing. Um, Losing motivation is essentially like I don't feel like doing it anymore.
Mhm,
The moment I don't feel like doing it anymore, I stop.
mhm.
Things can get hard. Maybe I'm not booked every weekend. Maybe or maybe I am booked every weekend and I just don't have time to see my girlfriend. I don't know, things like that, you know what I mean? But ultimately, the reason why I want to do this is because I can literally see myself one day on Raw.
Mhm.
I can literally see myself in front of the Bell Center with a microphone in hand with everyone singing something negative to me. I literally see that happening. And I hope it will. And that hope is what keeps me motivated. And I'm always hoping.
Yeah,
So
I
no.
need you to promise me when you're in WWE, you invite me backstage.
Done deal without a question.
Here at STR Wrestling Review, we love to get the stories, whether it's weird, bad, funny, great. What is one story that you've never publicly told?
We're gonna call this the last segment of the show because this is a good one. This is a very good one. This is a good question. A story I've never publicly told in reference to wrestling. Okay, it has something to do with maybe something me and Bray did at a wrestling show together. Okay, we were at a show and we were feeling quite rambunctious. Suffice to say, we wanted to cause some stuff. Now, the reason why we did this is because we may or may not have been taunted, perhaps. May or may not have been, someone was pissing us off. Someone was pissing us off. So we're like, well, how do we piss them off back? So what we did, like a bunch of kids, is I distracted the guy while Bray stole the ring bell. And it comes time for the show, and there's no ring bell, and there's no anything. And me and Bray are out first. We're opening the show. And they were like, well, we can't do the match if we don't have the ring bell. And we're like, oh no, well, what are we ever gonna do? And they were losing their mind. They were trying. They had to go get somebody to go get a bell, or they had someone to try to go home and go see if they left a bell at home. And we were just doing this like tee hee hee, you know what I mean? Like whatever. And then we went out to the ring and with our entrance, and we had the bell the entire time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I hope I doubt they'll watch, but I hope that they understand that we kind of had no choice in that matter.
You had no choice at all.
I had to. I mean, what are you going to do? Not take the bell?
Yeah.
You know? Like, come on.
Now, for the final question.
Yes.
Firstly, thank you so much. You've been a
Thank you.
great guest. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's my
For the
honor. It's my honor, truly. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're welcome at any show that we're at. That's without question.
Thank you so much. For the
Yeah.
final question, for someone like me or any other person watching at all who wants to get into the wrestling business, what is your advice?
Remember what brought you to the dance. Remind yourself every now and then why it is that you do what you do. And the reality of what it is that we do is we're all fans. We got into this business and became fans. Um, and for some of us, we've had the opportunity to turn our passion into something that can bring value, whether it be monetary or any sort of personal fulfillment. It goes back to what I said earlier. You'll never hear me say that I've lost hope.
Mhm.
Hope is my motivation. Hope is what gets me through it. So if you remember and remind yourself of that person who you were when you were 13 years old, wanting to get into the business, and you do whatever it takes to do it, and you use that as your motivation, trust me, good things will come.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been my interview with the hottest professional wrestling manager on the indie scene right now, Sugar Shane Pinto, and the champion, of course.
Thank
Again,
you.
thank you so much, man.
It's been my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I look forward to seeing you at the next show.
Yes, I do as well.
Have a great afternoon,
You
and really
too.
thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been my honor. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.